Hey guys, Brian Schoaf here for more brains. Here for bombasticentertainment.com. And today we're taking a look at how we created some of the special effects makeup tricks that we used in our own zombie film, Rise of the Dead, which I just put out in HD remaster. So if you haven't seen that, I'll throw a link up in the video description. Now, there's a million ways to do these effects and about a million tutorials on YouTube of how to do them. So while you're watching this, I would encourage you to think about how they can be tailored and changed for your own film so you add a unique twist to it. Because you don't ever want someone to be watching your movie and be like, oh, I've seen that tutorial. This video is going to be broken up into a couple sections spotlighting some of the cooler things we did on the film. So I'm also going to put timestamps down in the video description. Zombie makeup. Brains. Zombie design is largely done to taste. And I wanted classic Romero zombies, so that basically meant painting everyone gray. But to break up the zombie design a bit, we did several designs of hero zombies who would stand out from the crowd a bit and give our zombies a little bit of contrast, which I think is important in any zombie film, regardless if you want a classic Romero look or full rotten Walking Dead style. And after I had my key designs picked out, I went about creating them. So for Skullface here, no, not that one, this one. I just used a Halloween store appliance and cut it to the shape I wanted, glued it to the actor's face with a bit of spirit gum, and then blended the edges in with some blood. This is probably the easiest method, but also the most expensive, because good appliances are usually on the pricey side. Now, if you know you're going to be making a zombie film, or hell, any kind of horror film, I usually like to take a walk around the Halloween store the day after and stock up on fake blood, makeup, anything I think might be useful while everything is at a discount. I've gotten a lot of cool props for films this way. This answers just as many questions as it raises. For the Burn Man, I applied a bald cap and basically spitballed the actor's face with toilet paper and spirit gum adhesive. Then using fake blood and black powder, I came in and that created the powder burn effect. The hanging eyeball was my personal favorite, and one I created completely by hand. Using layers of liquid latex, I built up an eye patch on the dummy head, and then, while it was still a little bit wet, just kind of poked a hole in the center with my finger, creating some damaged flesh. The tendrils were rolled up pieces of liquid latex, and the eyeball itself was a piece of Sculpey. Then on the day, all I had to do was paint it, glue it to the actor's face with spirit gum, and kind of smooth out the edges with some scar putty. It was a pretty cool effect, and one I wound up creating years later for a photo shoot I was hired to do zombie makeup on.
It's not something I want to wear every day.
I wanted as much practical as possible, so I didn't do very much digital in the film, but if that's the route you want to go, you have literally limitless options. Like right here, I'm doing this tutorial zombie all digital because I just didn't feel like putting any makeup on. The skin tone is just using the hue and saturation effect and desaturating the reds, while the digital makeup is all done using stock footage and the built-in face tracker inside of Adobe After Effects. A bloody hit. This one was pretty simple. Basically, I just had a foam tube so we could actually hit the actor with it and not hurt him. And then attached a blood bag to the tip, so when it hit the head it would pop and then shoot blood everywhere. This effect works so well because even though the prop looked nothing like the actual tire iron, the speed of the editing really held everything together. Zombie bite. We actually had some grand plans that didn't quite make it into the film, so unfortunately this is the one that got away. Originally I had planned on layering up some liquid latex on the actor, and then the zombie would basically have a mouthful of fake blood which he would leak out as he bit into the latex and actually pulled it off with his teeth. It looks real and gory and gross, as you can see here in our test footage. Unfortunately, on the day the latex just wasn't drying due to the humidity, so we had to perform the bite with just drooling a mouthful of blood. Timing was a little bit off and it doesn't look quite as good as I had hoped, but it was a one-take deal, so it is what it is. If I had this to do over again, I would still try it the way that was originally intended. So I still stand by that method, but I'm sure you can do better. Torso rip. This was the granddaddy of them all. People love this effect, and for good reason. It also took the most amount of time to plan and film. We designed the effect and then built the props around it. I knew I needed a fake torso and a set of legs that would press up against my arms and neck as I laid down in a hole in the ground. So the zombies would come in, tear through a pre-cut hole in my shirt, puncturing a bag of blood, and then fight over the fake intestines they were wrapped in. So we needed a few things: a fake torso, a set of legs, and some fake intestines. And really, it wasn't too expensive. I think all told, the whole thing wound up costing about $50. The torso is made out of styrofoam sheets glued together to bulk up the size, and then cut the space for the blood bag into the foam. Then sculpted the rest into shape with a plane. Styrofoam makes a hell of a mess, so be prepared for snow. The fake legs were another duct tape dummy. I used a pair of long johns because they were form-fitting, so when dressed, the fake set would look like my legs. The intestines were condoms stuffed with cotton balls, glued together with rubber glue and then painted red. Hilarious, but sanitary. I know some people like to use real pig intestines, but honestly, it looks the same on screen, but these won't spoil and stink up the set. Now we put it all together. We dug a hole in the ground for me to lay in, lined it with trash bags to keep the creepy crawlies out, filled it back up,
Stomp it down a little.
placed the torso and legs into place, and then dressed them. Since I was laying in a hole in the ground, the wardrobe had to be cut up the back so I could slide my arms through, and then it could be tucked in around the fake torso. Now the zombies go to town, and we have This is really the money shot of the film, and I think all the time and effort really shows up there on the screen.
Wake up, buddy. You okay? I'm administering CPR.
Honorable mention. Headshot. Now, this is a bonus because it isn't part of the other tutorials. I'm just showing you what we did for this shot for the sake of having all the cards on the table. We actually blew the head off of a dummy using a real shotgun. Yeah. This was an interesting combination of things and dangerous as hell. So I'm going on record saying, do not do this. I know what I'm doing. I understand gun safety. This is not something that can be done in your backyard. So one more time, don't do it. I will, however, show you what we did just so you can see how the mechanics worked and understand why it was so dangerous. First, I built a fake torso of the actor using duct tape to hold the form. I've done this kind of duct tape dummy for other movies, and it's a great way to make realistic looking body parts or Halloween dummies on the cheap. Basically, you just have the actor wear a t-shirt and then hold a pose and then layer duct tape over. Then very carefully cut it off. I recommend using bandage scissors so you don't pinch them while you're cutting, and talk to them, making sure you're not restricting their breathing. So be safe and talk to your talent as you go if you're going to try this, because it's a slow and very uncomfortable process. Then after I had the form, I took the styrofoam head from earlier, cut the top off and hollowed it out so it could be filled up with fake blood. Since we were shooting this from the back, it didn't have to look like the actor, and the wig would cover most of it anyway. The body rested on a lever that I had made out of an old broom handle. Basically, it was built so the lever would only swing one way. So when the force of the shotgun actually blew up the head, it would knock the dummy over at the same time, which was important to me that no crew member was anywhere near that thing when the gun went off for obvious safety reasons. The whole thing worked beautifully. Probably a little bit too well because the shotgun completely destroyed the styrofoam head. I swear, it was raining styrofoam and fake blood for like 30 seconds afterwards. Now, we could only fire off a live shotgun round because we were in the country miles away from anyone else. So again, do not attempt this. If I had this to do over again, I would have used compressed air inside the head, since I could direct what way the blood shoots out and what pieces of the head would blow off, and then insert one of those muzzle flash gun effects. Rise of the Dead was a hell of a film for me at the time, and it took about 6 months of prep for me to get everything together. It's still one of the most popular movies I put on YouTube all these years later, and I know people kind of have zombie fatigue right now, but let's face it, zombies are cool, and they have a way of coming back from the grave. Be sure to check out the remastered version we just put out. Again, the link is in the description. The movie has never looked better, and looking back on it, I'm still really proud of the work we did. We made this movie in just 3 days. If this video is helpful, do me a favor and mash that subscribe button. It would help us out a lot. And share this video with at least one other zombie hunter you know, and I'll see you in the next video. We're coming to get you, Barbara. I'm gonna wait for that dog barking. Quiet, quiet, Mom. I'm making internet videos. You don't understand. No one understands me. You're not my real father.